Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, we're recording and okay, you're ready. So you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Hi, I am a community partner that works alongside Sounds of Autism, and I also work with men and women who have fallen victim to sexual exploitation, who are aged out of the foster care system, and those that are at risk to be caught up in sexual exploitation.
And thank you for being on today. We really appreciate this. This is sex trafficking within the autism population. It's part of our STOP project, Simple Task Operations Project, which is our workforce development program. And at Sounds of Autism, we included sex trafficking because we know that many of the autism populations and other special needs are very vulnerable to predatory situations, including sex trafficking. So even if they just work at a part-time job and they're under the direction of other agencies, this still is something that we have concerns about. And we want to make sure that we recognize the signs of those living their life on the spectrum, that understanding they have a processing delay and they're vulnerable to many predatory situations, as many of us are. And this is Talks and Tips, and we're going to be discussing this with our community partners. So I wanted to ask, you have girls or boys that come into your agency, adults, that have been sex trafficked within the foster care system, or through the foster care system, I guess. And when this population comes in, my question would be, what are some of the first things that you're seeing or hearing about this population that you could share with our community so that they're aware of what someone would go through when this type of a thing happens in their life, and especially when it's somebody that lives on the autism spectrum?
Yeah, absolutely, Cricket. So a lot of the signs that I'm seeing are, for like you've already said, their vulnerability. Their cognitive delays cause them to be extra vulnerable. Not to mention, the normal vulnerabilities of low self-esteem, confidence, family issues, um, friend circles, stuff like that. And what I'm seeing with them is the huge amounts of trauma that's coming out of this and how it's really affecting their behavioral health. And so we, you know, when an individual comes into our organization, we really try to take it case by case and embody that individual and all of their needs. So we sit down and we really decide what is it that this person needs, and we allow them to have some control in that. We allow them to really sit down and look at what it is they need and allow and give us ideas on that, and then we turn around and we give them some of our ideas, and there we can meet in the middle to be able to provide the best services possible for the individual.
So this topic, it could be very this topic could be very uncomfortable for anybody to talk about. And that's why Sounds of Autism really wanted to do this with the, gapping of the bridges for this particular subject, because we know that a family might feel more comfortable coming to us and talking about this, especially if their child has been exploited and they also have a disability. The parent sometimes takes full responsibility for that they were a bad parent or they did something wrong. And I think all parents probably feel that way when it comes to their child having these issues, but specifically, those with special needs, because we have to do a lot more care for this, population. And so once those families are kind of willing to talk about it, is there any kind of tips or something that you can offer for them so that they kind of know what is the first step that they should take so that we can get them to you and get the help that they need?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess my first piece of advice would be to not be ashamed. Shame oftentimes holds us back and keeps us from getting the support that we need. We need community uh, organizations to be able to come together and come alongside you and let you know that, you're not the only one. You're not alone. There are many others that have been before you that have gone through this. And unfortunately, there may be many after. And so I would say, really just getting in, being open about it, accepting that support, not living in shame. Um, And yeah, I mean, just reaching out, really. It's just that's the most significant part that people hide. They just don't reach out. And so that would be my biggest piece of advice is to reach out to a professional and ask for that advice.
I always share with people that, there's 3.5 reasons that we fail, and it's knowledge, we just don't know. Execution, we know, but we're afraid to ask for help because people are afraid to fail, or they feel like you said, like shameful of what's happening. And then attitude and ability. And attitude to me is something that they own. We can't control that. And ability sometimes is a disability. And we know that these kids have a processing delay, many of them in the special needs population. And when something like this happens to them, a lot of times they don't even know what's happening to them. And so they don't know this is not normal and it's unacceptable. And these types of things should not be happening. So we're really focusing on families and educating from prenatal, which is our college program, our boots on the ground, teaching and educating at a very young age, so that when these next generations of parents come into their adult role and they become the next generation of parents and leaders, that they are completely aware of what they should be looking for and how they should, kind of maneuver life or go on their journey so that they ensure that they're always keeping their child and themselves protected. But if anything were to happen like this, that there's plenty of resources out there that can help. You just have to ask for it. So we
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely,
for.
Cricket. And
Go ahead.
like you just said, education is number one. And there's so many organizations out there. ASU has tons of resources and tons of trainings and things along that nature that you can go in, you can get on their website, you can look for the signs, you can be educated on what it is and what to look out for. And honestly, more than anything, what I would say to parents is to stop being their kids' friends, to be their parents, to check their social media, to make sure who they're hanging out with, where they're going, all of those things, because anywhere a predator is going to go is where our children hang out. They're not, they're very good at what they do. And so, they're hanging out online. That is one of the biggest top platforms right now. With the hit of COVID, online things have risen 98% for predators to reach a child online. And so I would say that's their number one. Educate your child on online safety. Educate them on how to be safe when they're out in the community. And make sure you're having those real, raw, open conversations with them. Keep that open communication, no matter how uncomfortable it feels for you. And even if they fight their way through it, you just continue to have that open communication to make sure that you know where they're at and what they're doing. Put a tracker on their phone. It's in every neighborhood. It's not just individuals that are cognitively delayed. I mean, it's not just individuals in, the lower income parts of town. It's in Scottsdale, it's in Cave Creek, it's everywhere. And this is right here in our backyards. It could be my daughter, it could be your daughter. And so education is key.
I really appreciate your time today. And, we're asking our audience to continue to listen in as we bring these spectrum talks and tips to you in multiple perspectives throughout the United States as well as Canada. And we look forward to the next episode. So thank you for your time today. We appreciate your community partnership with us.
Yes, thank you, Cricket.
You're welcome. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, so
Okay.
I think we're done recording, maybe not. Let me see. Nope, we're
Oh.
not. Okay, there we go.